My name is Justin Taylor. I work with the City of Fayetteville, and I also work with Washington County. And this is Brian Pugh.
I work at the City of Fayetteville.
And we do a lot of programs with schools, businesses, and other organizations teaching about recycling and waste reduction. And I'm not sure what everybody has for expectations for the class tonight, but I've kind of switched gears a little bit from where I was before, and we're going to be doing a little more focus on something that a lot of people don't necessarily talk about a lot, and you guys will become aware of that as I move through. But I want to get started here. I'm going to turn the lights down, and we should take about an hour or so. And I want this to be really interactive. I don't want it to be just me giving information and doing that. So if you guys have questions, we've got time. Ask questions, clarify things. A lot of this material is going to be interactive, and I really encourage you guys to do that because I know how easy it is to kind of zone out sometimes when you're just listening to someone all the time. So participation is great. I'm going to turn on this backlight, and y'all can tell me how it looks. If nobody can see it well.
That's good.
Okay, how's that?
Okay.
Cool. You've already answered my question? Yeah. So, what's your first reaction? Just gut reaction.
Disgust.
Junk inside the bird.
A bird and a what?
No, I didn't part of the pun. You said our gut reaction.
I got it. I didn't even know. I wasn't intending that. So, it's a pretty powerful picture. Anybody know what it is?
Yeah.
The bird full of junk. Anybody knows more specifically what it is?
Trash.
Yeah, it looks like a gull from that size. It's a baby albatross. You guys know anything about albatrosses? They're big. Their wingspan's like, I don't know, 8 feet or something. They sail and they look drunk apparently when they're landing on islands in the middle of the Pacific. But the mothers feed the babies by picking up food in the ocean, and then they regurgitate it basically to the baby, and the baby just takes it, right? Which kind of leads you to how this would happen. Well, how did that happen? So I'm kind of starting with the problem. And, working with kids and adults and lots of different people, I really learned that you can give people a lot of information, but if you don't make them feel something, a lot of times behavior will not change. So that's what I'm here to do. And that's why I've chosen this picture for the first slide. This is plastic, obviously, that's been floating around the ocean. And so we've got these huge gyres, which are, this one in particular is the North Pacific, I believe, and they're located these, gigantic currents that just circulate in the ocean. And you've got all this plastic that gets into these currents. Well, how the heck would plastic, let's say that we lost somewhere in Arkansas, in Fayetteville, end up in this thing's belly?
Yeah, going through the rivers and on down.
Exactly, right? All water is connected, so eventually current's going to carry this into, some creek into the White River, to the Arkansas, to the Mississippi, to the Gulf of Mexico, and, up and around it goes. Now and they're actually doing projects to trace where things go. I think they did this with a rubber ducky one time. Beaver Water District did to see where it ended up. And so one of the things I want to illustrate with this is that there is no away, right? Everything that we do, everything that we produce to some extent is going to stick around in some form or another unless it's transformed. And this is a really good example, I think, of plastic. What happens is these little birds, the moms think it's food. They grab it based on color and they pick it up and they don't think about it because it's just sort of an instinctual reaction and they're not used to plastic. And this is what we get. This is actually happening quite a bit. And to me, this is one of those, when I saw it, it was one of those, hey, this is a real issue. This is something that we need to figure out why it's happening and what we can do about it. And I think that for most people it would be, an issue because that bird starved to death. That's what happened to him. His stomach got impacted with the plastic and they can't eat because they can't digest any of the food that they get on top of that. And this is becoming more common. So that's just kind of to illustrate that there really is no way. We say throwing something away, but ultimately we are in a closed system here, and there is no way. So this is the 2016 Master Recycler course. I got this idea from some really good people out in Oregon that are doing some good training out there, and they have an intensive program where people go through different weeks and they do this extended certification to become a master recycler. So we wanted to kick it off here. And the idea is that Brian and me and a couple other people that do this kind of work around here and people that you talk to, that's great, but we need force in numbers. We need people going out in their business, in their church, in their social, civic organization, and getting this information out there, because I can't tell you how many times I go to a school and it's good for me to be giving this information, but a better day will be when that information is not new to a lot of students in my mind. And that's what we want to happen at some near point in time. So, give you guys a little test here. I'm not going to do a magic trick, I promise. Because I don't know.
Are you going to juggle?
And I don't know how to juggle very well. Which of these items can be recycled in most of our communities?
The bottom.
The bottom, right?
Depending.
Really?
Why?
Depending. Is it a bottle number 1 or 2?
It's a number 1 PET plastic.
Okay, and the paper.
Oh,
Anybody want to guess what this one is?
Number 5.
Ding, ding, ding. Polypropylene, number 5. Pretty common. Yogurt containers, that sort of thing. So, how about this one? Styrofoam, right? Polystyrene, number 6, expanded polystyrene, right? 98% air, I believe, which makes it really handy, easy to ship, and those sorts of things, but difficult to recycle. So that's just sort of an example of some plastics, because, honestly, I get so many questions about plastics, and it's really confusing. And I think that people need to have good information about it. And that's one of the things that we're hoping to accomplish with this class. Okay, so
Guess that
source
wasn't a piece
reduction.
of paper.
What the heck is that? Somebody tell me.
what'd he say? What'd you ask?
Barney got it. Stop creating the waste, right?
Correct.
How do we do that? You don't have to answer that. It's more rhetorical than anything else. So this is what I would like you guys to take with you. I'm just going to focus on 3 main things when you go. Understanding the solid waste hierarchy and what's in our waste stream, what's in our trash, and what are our best options when we're talking about trash, making it, and what we can do with it. Knowing the 3 R's. If you get a confusing question about recycling or about trash or about anything, the easiest thing is just to go back to the 3 R's. I find that over and over again. Somebody tell me what they are.
Reduce, reuse, and
Right, why do they
recycle.
say in that order?
Order, reducing, biggest impact.
Yeah, it's a prioritization. If you reduce, then the other 2 options are not even necessary in the first place.
What were the 3 again?
Reduce, reuse, and recycle. And Brian, these have been around since the 70s, probably?
I'm not quite sure when, but Ever since I can remember, it's been that.
Before I was born, they were around. So they're a tried and true slogan. And then this is what I want you guys to do. The third one, take steps to reduce waste. So, and before I forget to say this, baby steps. Because, you know, I've been through a lot of processing with this since I've worked for the city, and even before that, and it's really easy to see a huge problem and go, whoa, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, because it's just so big. But when you break it down into manageable steps, it becomes much more surmountable, I think. So, baby steps. I tell myself that a lot. Okay, so when I was in graduate school many years ago, I had this really, what's a good word for him? Tactless professor at the University of Georgia, and you would, you know, pour your heart and soul into this research project and say, you know, and I was like 21 years old or something, you know, and naive, and you give it to him, and he just laugh at it and throw it back at you, literally throw it back at you, and go like, so what? I don't care. And he was kind of being truthful and kind of joking at the same time. But that question stuck with me. What's in our trash? That's my first question. But then the big question is, so what? Who cares? Who cares what's in our trash? And that's a question to y'all. Who cares? Why does it matter?
We all
Why
should
not
care
just-
because it affects our water quality
Affects our water quality.
and the land use. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of land for landfill.
True. Yes, it does use land. So, I would like you guys to do something for me real quick, a couple minutes. Find someone you do not know in the room and come up with one answer for so what. And if you don't get an answer, no problem. I just want you to mix and talk to somebody. So you do that. Find one person you don't know and ask them. Okay. Just a couple minutes. Actually, I had a German accent.
One of the options for me is running out of
Well, yeah, I'm ready to graduate.
Oh, yeah. I was in the second class. Right, yeah. That's good. Yeah. Right. You gotta start something.
Okay, all right, I'm right.
It was up to the offices.
And what year is
I don't want to worry about Arkansas. It's the master
Okay, guys, 2 more seconds, let's wrap it up.
I don't even know where it came from. The meat, it certainly wasn't a problem.
Yeah.